the reason I'm bringing this up and why I took the time to write this down is because you're going to work it from here. And I wanted to give you sort of a diagram model. This is a tool to help you to avoid a repetition of a problem.
Okay.
So far, you've had a repetition of a problem.
Right.
Before you came here, you had a repetition of a problem.
Exactly.
Now, when you leave here, what I would like to see is a different approach. That the malady, sort of the diagnosis, is high achievement, because you're clearly a high achiever.
I guess. Okay.
And my assessment is that the strength then has a possibility of becoming a weakness. But what you definitely know is that you've been experiencing discomfort, and then it has been interpreted as a problem, and the action then is to solve the problem, which is good all-American response. And so then you have a consultation with experts, and then the result is a repetition of the problem. I have healers who are called energy healers. They look at the perspective differently because what you're having here is an energetic issue, not a medical issue. Discomfort, and it's being interpreted as a problem. And so what I'm suggesting, and we'll be giving this to you, is that when you have discomfort, that it's not a problem that the camera, it's interpreted as an indicator. So discomfort is not a problem, it's merely an indicator. And that's a huge difference. And then the action is that you're translating the indicator because you want to understand the indicator. And these are subtle influences. It's not obvious, because if it was obvious, you'd have corrected it. Why? Because you're a high achiever. So what you've seen 40 doctors over is something that's subtle. And the reason why it hasn't gone away is because it's up to you, not anyone else, to come up with a solution. And so the action is not an action of experts, but it's an action of you translating the indicator. And what I'm suggesting is that there are certain things that are triggers to, and I've lost myself again, that trigger the indicator. But what's happened is that you've stopped at it being the problem, the physical problem, and I'm saying if you work it through and you translate it in a subtle way, that you're going to find a way to have a release of what I would consider to be a burden of some sort, and move it into acceptance. And so what you've already been doing is prayer and meditation. So you're already practicing that. However, prayer and meditation, this is a different form of prayer and meditation. This is working from the solution, not the problem. And so and forgive me for assuming, but the possibility exists that your previous prayer and meditation is also working from the problem.
See, and I think the key, the one word that's the only word that's missing in your whole thing,
Yeah.
trust.
Okay.
We've got to trust in God. Now, I'm working on that, and I have been working. It's not easy, but that we have to trust. We have to turn our problems over to God and trust in Him. Turning them over is only half.
Okay.
You got to trust Him to lead you to an end. That's why I think He led us here.
And that approach is that the discomfort is an indicator, not a problem. And that if you can translate this into trust, that's what we want.
That's what I've been working on.
And so, and even the process itself, you can have trust and turn that over to God. So this process is as far as acceptance and trust, is I think that there are certain issues that are strengths that become weaknesses. Now, what would be an example? Love. You love your family, you want what's best for them, but then that can translate into worry. I have the same issue. I think, oh, I love my children. Where are they right now? What are they doing? And so it translates to worry. This is the direction, is relief. And the direction over here is worry, and it's subtle. And so as you're paying attention, now the discomfort actually becomes your friend. Because it's telling you that there's something in your process that's creating anxiety. And if you take the time then and translate the anxiety into the release, and you say, you know, God, I don't understand how this discomfort relates, but I'm going to turn that over to you. And so it's just a series of repetition of turning it over to God for God's care. And then what I had said was that creates an increase of capacity, because if you're not in a repetition, you now have a new possibility. And then the new possibility you must fill within your dreams.
Okay.
And so probably what has occurred is that your time and energy and thoughts is focused on getting better. And when you stop doing that, it creates time and available energy to do other things. But you've been so focused on correcting your problem that you've lost sight of your larger dreams. And so what I'm suggesting is really stay in touch with the dream of your life, not the solving of problems. The strength being that you are, as a high achiever, one of the ways that we achieve is through the solving of problems effectively in consultation with experts. This is business over here, but it doesn't work. It doesn't work when it comes to the energy of
I don't
health.
think I'm a high achiever. I used to be.
Uh-huh.
I don't think I am anymore. I really don't.
In a subtle way, you are a high achiever. I guarantee you. I've been working with you now for 3 days. You are a high achiever.
The other thing you need in there, and I don't say it often,
You can write on this.
is the prayer of serenity.
Okay.
You know what that prayer is?
To accept the things you can't
There you go,
change.
you
That's
got
it
it.
exactly.
Yeah.
And so, now one other thing about this process that's very important, and this is part of the colonic process as well, is that the process is 2 steps forward, 1 step back. So you may have discomfort, and then you work it through and you say, you know what, I really am upset about the politics of this country, or I'm upset about something. And you identify it, and then you feel relief, and then the very next day it comes back even stronger, and you say, well, I'm not making any progress at all.
No, that's not my...
And the same
I'm
with...
interested in the politics of this country. I can't change them. I don't expect to change them.
Prayer of serenity. Right. So, and with the colonics too, you may be like, I've been doing colonics, getting horrible things out, and I'm doing much better. And then all of a sudden, whoa, you're doing worse. And so what I'm suggesting is understand that it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back.
Okay.
And when you do go backwards, you want to take the time to work it through, because to make the decision, should you continue the way you've been going, and probably the answer is yes, as far as the colonics. But it's not going to only be a paved road, just only going your way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
you're going to have some climbing at times, and you'll also have opposition. People will,
Well,
you may have some opposition. So when you have the discomfort, you just ask yourself, what was I thinking about? Because it's subtle. What triggered the feelings of discomfort? And were you annoyed? Were you worried? Were you angry? And then you have to ask yourself, what is not acceptable to you? And like I said, it's very subtle, because here's the thing. You go to a door and a Mexican man answers, and here's the trigger. You can't help it. You think this is an illegal alien.
you know, that didn't occur to me until later.
Till later. Okay, but this is just an example.
Okay.
And I do it too.
Okay.
I looked at the men who, as I drove down the road, I was like, I saw the Mexican men working. I was like, are they illegal? And it's just something just
It was
reading
not
the
a worry, it
news.
was just a wonder.
It's a wonder, but what it leads to then is, boy, our country's messed up.
Yeah.
And it just takes 2 extra steps to work that through. And if you can accept it, then this is where you're yielding that over to God. You're saying, I'm not going to try and control this person. I'm not going to control this situation. I yield that to God. And I'm responsible for me. This is very specific. And because the next question is, what interests and inspires me? And what are my dreams? Because this is where you want to be living.
Right,
Not annoyance, worry, and anger.
that's right.
And so what you're doing is, it's a process that we're never really trained, and I'm saying you probably do this most of the time, but for the times that you don't, this is a helpful process to move it forward. A statement would be, won't it be nice when? That's a dream statement. Won't it be nice when? Now on the other side is, if you catch yourself saying, I'm worried about, you're in the wrong,
Right.
you're up here. And what you're going to get, I've heard you say this more than once, I'm worried about what worries me. Okay? Now you're going to notice it. And when you get to that
Is that them
point,
talking about the colonics and how we put together? Is that what I used?
no, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
You're just going to notice when you say that, because I'll tell you something. Right after that, you say, I'm feeling that pain. I'm feeling that discomfort. Now, I've observed it, but because it's subtle, you have not. And that's why I'm taking this time. This is valuable time for us.
Okay.
You're getting on the road, and I'm saying, you know what? I would laminate this and keep it somewhere when you're feeling your discomfort. Go through it, and then you throw it away. You won't need it.